Hi, my RareFam. So, happy Heritage Month, South Africa. Heritage means different things to different people. It's about our ethnic roots, of course, but it also includes the cultural teachings and life lessons and experiences. It's about who we are, where we come from, and where we are today. It's also about stepping out of things no longer serving us and stepping into your unique power and truth, discovering all your rarities. Let's continue to invest in knowing who we are, where we come from, and what was instilled in us, which is the generational blessings. Continue to move in your authentic power, your blueprint, the rare that makes you you, the rarities in you, Rare Fam. So welcome back to Rarity by You with your girl Eugene. I'm super excited for the next conversation that I'm about to have with a phenomenal, powerful house of a woman, of a rare queen, Nontombi Velelo. If this video is for you, if you found it helpful, insightful, or just that you can relate to it, please don't forget to share, like, turn on notifications to make sure that you don't miss out on any of our other storytelling. Subscribe to our YouTube channel or just tune into our social media platforms. Guys, this was absolutely amazing. We had like an intro, she requested a song, and it's just like a different kind of interview, but absolutely powerful. You look gorgeous.
Everyone says that, hey, I age backwards.
Yo, it's like in reverse. It's so good to see you, ma'am. You asked for a specific song, so I just want to ease us into it just a little bit, and then we'll jump right into it. But I want to thank you for joining me. Yo, I'm super excited to talk to you, and you've dressed apart.
It's hard to see
So beautiful.
what you are doing.
Can you hear?
Here in the ruins and where this will lead. Oh, but I know that down through the years, I look on this moment and see your hand on it and know you were here. And I'll testify of the battles you've won, how you were my portion when there wasn't enough. And I'll testify of the seas that we've crossed, the waters you parted, the ways that I've walked, singing, oh, my God did not fail. Oh, it's the story I'll tell, singing, oh, I know it is well. Oh, it's the story I'll tell. Believe.
Wow, Nontombi. What a way to start this one. This is for sure a rare one. It's like you can feel the Holy Spirit immediately for some reason. And just setting the tone for this interview that it's not self, it's gonna be led by the Holy Spirit. So I'm excited to have this conversation with you. Ah, yes, but I'm talking to you and I want you to introduce yourself. I normally ask people to introduce themselves because I feel it's you. You have to tell us and step into the confidence in owning who you are as a person as well. So please introduce yourself.
I am Nontombi Velelo, born and bred in Bloemfontein. I went to Karabelo Primary School
and then went to Tsoseletso High School, then started my undergrad at the University of the Free State. And I'm currently working at the University of the Free State. I am the second and last born of my dad and my mom. My dad was an assistant land surveyor, and my mother was a domestic worker. And I have a sister. I'm also an aunt, and I'm also, yes, I'm an aunt to two very naughty boys, Tammy and Ona, and I am also a mother to a dog. You know, everyone in my life knows my dog. I mean,
Yes,
Lucy's the star. Lucy's the
Yes.
star.
Yes.
So I have Lucy. If she's not at the back because she's just sitting and looking at me, just know it's Lucy.
Lucy. Yes.
Yes, basically,
Yes.
that's who I am.
I'm so happy for you to be here. I mean, we known each other for a short while, but it's like I've known you forever. So just that introduction is like I know some parts, but I don't know deeper than that, you know? So this is where I'm gonna ask you, and you fit so perfectly for the concept for Heritage Month, and we're gonna jump into that and go deeper into who Nontombi is. What was it like growing up? As Nontombi into this independent woman. You are such a strong woman, and I look up to you on so many levels, and you know that. Always rooting for you.
You're so kind to me today. You're so kind to me.
I am.
Growing up was quite interesting. Growing up, we lived in Palming, but we moved to Blumanda, just not too far from the South Campus. And when I was young, then I would say I had a normalish childhood. Not childish, childhood. So sorry.
Oh yes.
Childhood. In the context that I was just a normal child who would go to school, and I would watch TV like your Top Billing. And my uncle used to ask me, because when I was watching Top Billing, he could see that I've transitioned to a different world.
Yes.
Or I'll be watching Generations and I'm sitting like this, and he can see I've transitioned to the different world. And he would ask me, but what do you want to be when you grow up? And I just said to him, I just want to lead a life like people in the TV. I never had a specific career path, and also it was difficult in a sense that my parents didn't get the opportunity to get higher education, but they tried their best to share with us as their children what they have, and also try to, they were quite strict though, but they tried to just inculcate discipline.
Yeah.
And failure was not an option at home. You would not go to school and come back having to fail. You had to explain you had to explain, like literally my mother every Sunday. I knew Sunday is the worst day in the afternoon, because she would go through my school books and then, why didn't you underline here? Why didn't you do this here? But it was a challenging in the economic terms, or the economic aspect. It's not like I was one of those kids who went to multiracial schools and maybe who got everything they wanted. So yeah.
Okay, very interesting. And so here we are, you having your fair share of, we are
having my fair share of being on some camera, like, come on.
Um, and if we go now back into more of the heritage, heritage consists of many layers, and it's from the attire, number one, and not everybody has that. And then there's traditions, which is means different things to different people as well. Traditions can, like, for me, I would take like a simple thing in the house back then, where your parent would teach you how to bake this bread, and you can carry that tradition over and for generations. And so it's many layers to it as well. The tradition of Bible studies with your mom and dad, or those generational blessings, Nontombi, that was installed in us. So in your opinion, what does heritage mean to you? What does your heritage look like and feel like? And yeah.
I am Xhosa, but I speak Sotho. And I always wondered and would ask my dad, but why can't we speak isiXhosa, And he did explain to me how they grew up and all that.
Yeah.
So I'm not from a very cultured background.
Okay.
Or traditional background, but growing up, you get that point of wanting a sense of self, and you also want to understand who you are. So what firstly has been transmitted to me, I need to brag about this one.
Please.
I can make umqombothi.
Oh, like the
very well.
Real Makoy.
The real Makoy umqombothi.
Yes.
And then when you look at my maternal and paternal families, one thing that was nurtured in us was the importance of prayer and speaking to the heavens, speaking to the dry bones, and allowing yourself to be vulnerable to God, At the same time, acknowledging the spiritual presence that you are in, because it was encouraged also by my uncle that you don't go to a place of a meeting with the Almighty and the heavens as if you are used to them, You go there with a pure, clean heart, and you present yourself as someone who is pure and someone who wants that connection in truth and in spirit.
Yes.
That's why I consider myself to be much more of a worshiper. And then the other thing that my uncle taught us was the importance of traditional rituals and rites of passages. Though we never had that, but he made it a point that he teaches us at least about the maternal rites of passages and the maternal rituals that needs to be conducted when a child is born, when a girl child gets her first period, and. So that is what my heritage or cultural knowledge that has been passed down to me.
Passed on, yes. This is now a question that I wanted to ask a bit later, but it feels like it's fit now to be like cultural genocide. If I think about it, and I might be incorrect, you can just correct me. I'm seeing that you're this really powerful academic, which I can brag about. You see, with where you say there's not a lot of background, but you've been informed. And we've seen like a lot of kids that is in this which is the multicultural schools, or they grow up not growing up in the where it first started. So it's a whole different environment. Growing up English, not knowing the language, not ever having to get the opportunity to make Nkomboti. Did I click nicely? You know, but is it then the responsibility for our elders to pass it on, or do we also go to, you know, try to find out what it's about? What does that cultural genocide mean to you? I hope I'm making sense.
Yes, you are. There are two ways of it.
Yeah.
There's a part whereby it is we inculcate or cultivate or teach a person how to do certain things. And for me, to a large extent, it has been, I've always had this thirst of wanting to know more about my roots.
Yes.
And I would be the child that would ask about Isiduko, like my clan name, and what it means, and who was my father's grandmother, so all of that knowledge was passed down to me.
Yeah.
But at the same time, some other things I had to find them out myself later in life. Why did I decide to do that? I decided to do that because I needed to understand and know who I am.
Yeah.
And that is why I'm saying that is the reason behind the song.
Yeah.
That this is the story that I'm telling. This is who I am.
Yeah.
And this is what I stand for. And this is the stock I've been made of.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when they narrate and tell me about my grandmother, my great grandmother, she was this matriarch, a very strong woman who raised her children, her boys and whatnot. And I now understand when I look at the story that I tell of my testimony, that I am my grandmother's dream. Like I'm living her dream. I am her wildest dream that she can possibly think of, because here I am in my own rights. You know me very well. You are close to me. I'm a matriarch in my own rights, in the space that I'm in.
Yes.
Particularly at home. Oh yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. Like it's like the cultural genocide is that systematic destruction of this, the traditions, the language, and other elements as well, to make up the group of people that's distinct from one another as well. And since we have have choices now to choose whether we want to uphold our culture, our heritage. I know for some people, they were like, I don't want to do the Lobola thing anymore. Since you have a choice, other people, they want to continue with it. And I think, also letting go of some of the things that you might have a different view to it, but someone to cling on to it. And, in your opinion, where do you find yourself at? Like, what do you still practice, and what do you like? You know what? I know it's a different question now as well, but what am I still like the Nkomboti is also. I'm going back to that because it is something that you can continue with. But then there's other things that you're like, I'm ready to let go of this, but I'm more serious about this aspect of my heritage. Or do you take it as a whole? And how do you see it if people do want to let go?
Obviously now, Eugene, I'm learning the language because for some reason I have a lot of Xhosa friends.
Yes.
And now that I have walked towards myself, I have a different appreciation of my culture as a Xhosa person. I have I have some form of a different appreciation of who I am. And it doesn't, Umqombothi serves different purposes in different contexts.
Okay.
And at the end of the day, for me, I'm just making an example. I am proud that an academic person working in the university, I'm still upholding my traditional ways.
Yeah.
And that was instilled to me by my parents. So honestly speaking, as far as I'm concerned, yes, there was a time when one would want to fit in and you let go of certain things. But what I've learned is you are actually letting go of sense of being and sense of belonging. And sense of yourself. Because those are the things that speaks to the core of who you are. I see a human being, I always say, and I think I've said this to you, I see myself as a spiritual and emotional being before becoming in a physical form. And those are the things that are still upholding and feeding the spiritual and the emotional aspects of being. And I am in a position to be to communicate with my creator at a deeper level, because I'm understanding when they say Uqamata, who is Qamata? Qamata is the God of our forefathers, who was with them all along till we are here. So honestly speaking, for me, it has been a matter of having a different and special kind of appreciation for culture. And unfortunately, the language also gives you a different perspective in terms of your sense of being. And I had to come to terms with that at the end of the day, South African families were dismantled by the apartheid system. And if you are like me, whereby your father was Xhosa, your mother was Sotho, and you had Group Areas Act, and you had Bantu stands and all that, there would be things that go through the cracks. That I was more Sotho than Xhosa. Because of the political situation that has happened in our country. But at the end of the day, it doesn't change the essence of who I am.
You're stepping now into your Xhosa, embracing that more of that language, and what else is there that you're embracing about the two different sides?
I am also embracing spirituality. For some time I battled myself with the concept of being a healer. And as you would know, my office would always be flooded with people who would want an ear or just a tissue and just a tissue to wipe a tear. And I battled with that, honestly speaking. I battled with it. But as I started unpacking the layers of this onion, I got to understand the role of my great-grandfathers and their fathers within the space of the Methodist Church. I got to learn about the healing that took place from my great grandmothers within the space of the church. And I am embracing the gift of healing in that sense.
Yes.
Because we've been in the church, and my great grandfather actually I think in one of the small towns here in the Free State. That's where the Methodist branch of that small town started in his own house. And he became a bishop of that particular circuit, because they go according to circuits. But my thing is, I am learning to embrace that he did his healing in his house.
Yes.
And in the context of the church.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm also moving towards a direction of self-acceptance in that sense.
Yes.
Because I always wondered, why would I get all these random people who would come and tell me problems and all of these things? But I also grew up knowing that I'm a different kind of a child. But I battled with it. Honestly, I'm being honest. I battled with it. And I think now, just COVID happened, and it forced one to actually have internal conversations, like reflections, and digging deeper into the essence of who you are and what is the purpose of like your life, and probably thinking you're gonna catch the virus and then die. What would you say you have done? And it caused me to really think deeper about myself, and wanting to know more about my being and where I come from. And when I was ready for that conversation to happen, then I understood why I am in the space that I am, and why I am experiencing some of the things that I'm experiencing.
Yes, this reminds me of when we were still working together, how we had this conversation of feeling different. It's like, you remember, it's a journey of knowing who you are. It's a continuous journey, because what might feel like I know who I am here might change tomorrow, and it's okay. I'm gonna keep on, doing that self-introspection, accepting where you are currently. And you've already answered the question that I wanted to ask, like, how did you get basically to a place of self-awareness, that self-acceptance, and overflowing yourself with your roots, your heritage, just embracing the elements of what you're made of. And I think you still on that journey, like you mentioned.
Eugene, what is important is for one to be grounded, be grounded as a person. And don't be shaken or waver. In and out of season.
Yes.
Be grounded. That's all I can say.
Short but powerful. Or it pushes you to silence the voices or the noise of the world. To stand firm in who and what you are, in your beliefs, and moving towards who God says you are at the end of the day. So just silencing the voices, the noise. How do you do that?
I'm gonna refer to two scriptures. The first scripture is Genesis 16 verse 13, whereby Hagar was running away. When you look at the chapter, Hagar was running away from Sarah, because Sarah was so unfair to her and ill-treating her and whatnot. And God appeared and said, Hagar, where are you going? And they had a conversation. And Hagar said, this place is attire, meaning I have met the one who sees me. You know, why that particular scripture? When there's a lot of noise, you also tend to lose focus and lose sense of who you are. But in my case, in the midst of the voices and the noise, I managed to find myself. So I've met the one who sees me. Then I think it is Philippians 1 verse 6, that which says, he who has begun the work in you shall bring it to completion. So the two scriptures defines, or not defines, but describes who Nontombi Velelo is. Nontombi Velelo has met the God who sees her, and she believes that he will bring to completion the work that he started in her. So those two scriptures have been the anchor of my life, in and out of season, and also believing that upon this very same rock, God will build his church, and the gates of hell will not prevail, because he has started the work in me by firstly seeing me and me recognizing that he's Ata Elroy, the one who has seen me for who I am.
Oh, that's absolutely beautiful. So you get different messages all the time from the same stuff, from the same verse over and over again. And hearing it from a different perspective, it's like, wow, opening another way. And sometimes that's how God works. You just need to sit and listen for I always say we ask and we ask and we ask, but we take a moment just to listen, to keep quiet and listen. And this is beautiful. And I have a teachable spirit, so I'm thank you for sharing that.
Well, the first thing is I had to accept that God sees me in the midst of the noise, and I had to believe that he has started the work in me, and he will bring it to completion.
The one generational blessing from your heritage that you continue to keep alive within you, or that you want to carry over in your home. And I'm talking about now things that you did. Like I said, the bread, when you celebrate certain days of the year, some people celebrate Christmas, some don't. But then I take it back to the cookies that you might have baked it in your home. They're doing this, there's certain stuff, that traditions that you had in your childhood that you still want to carry through. Can you share that?
It's cooking. Really, I love cooking. I love cooking, and I just not blowing my own horn, but I think I'm good at it. Cooking for me is a it's a way of nurturing. I mean, I like nurturing people, and cooking is also a way of breaking bread, of establishing some form of covenant in some aspects. And cooking is also, especially eating together, and cooking is also a way of just distressing me. It's therapeutic in a sense that you are expressing yourself in a different context. So
absolutely beautiful. Cooking and its celebrations, and how you feel inside when you do that. I think it's mentally also when you do what you love, and it's from a tradition, and you see your mom in it all the time, or you see your dad, and you see the season in your lives. So it's just,
and especially when I'm cooking malamogodu and steamed bread. and I'm playing around with the steamed bread. This time I want to put this and I want to put that. So yeah, it's just.
Yeah.
And friend, I'm gonna cook malam khodu and
Invite
send to you.
Yes. Yes, when I come again, I'm gonna say I'm here. Please do. And that's the beauty of our heritages. It's so different. We have different meals, and when we come back to Rainbow Nation and we look around, that's exactly what it should say. Like, this is me. We shouldn't, there should be respect for, the different beliefs, the traditions, the heritages, and just to continue to respect each other and embrace it. What makes you feel authentically you, the rare in you?
I'm an authentic person.
Yes, already.
I think. I'm an authentic person.
Yes.
Yes, women now don't want to be called your ride or die, but once I have your back, I have your back. And I think that is what makes me rare.
Yeah.
And also I am the type of a person, if I've been through something, the next person should not go through it. Yeah. If I'm able to assist.
Wow.
I believe that there will be doors that you will open.
Yeah.
That by virtue of you opening those doors, I don't have to struggle because you have managed to get the key. And by virtue of me also having the key to some doors and knowing how to go about opening them, you should not go through what I went through.
Yes.
So I always say, I've in the work and the family context, I have seen myself as the pilot project.
Yes.
And now that there are no perfect footprints, but at least there are footprints. So the next person doesn't have to go through that.
Yes. Well, I love that because you said no perfect footprints.
There are no perfect footprints.
Yes, but they are.
But they are there.
Yeah.
And it is up to you to decide when you get to a certain point of the journey, which direction you want to take.
Yeah.
But the main thing that remains is there are footprints.
Yeah.
And you don't have to have my scars.
Oh, yeah.
Unless it's in your personal space. But in a professional space, in a relationship, friendship space,
yes,
you don't have to be my scars.
Sure.
Because there's a song by I think Amanda. It's a US singer, but she's saying that someday you will tell your story, and someday your story will also be like a healing aid. And at the end of the day, my pain is your healing aid.
Yes.
And ways I have found to create that path.
Yeah.
As I'm saying, they might not be perfect.
Yeah.
But
yes.
The main thing is the grass has been a little bit cut off so that you can walk a bit.
I think it's so powerful because we don't find it, and I say that's something rare that's distinct to you. That makes Nontombi, Nontombi, that's who you are. Nontombi, that's what you love by as well. I know you, and sometimes we look out for ourselves and that's all we do. But you don't want to pave the way for others, and it's where being human comes in, humanity, and it's also godliness that's instilled in you, and there's something that nobody can take away from you. That's so beautiful about it, I love that.
So what message would you give to your younger self? If you now had like a picture of Nontombi, the younger self, what would you say to her?
Believe in yourself. Believe in yourself.
Yeah.
Even if they don't believe you, believe in yourself. Joseph's brothers never believed in his dream, but the dream happened. It was the dream for him. So I would say, Nontombi, the world is full of naysayers, people who would say you won't make it. But remember that if it's impossible for them, it doesn't mean it's impossible for you. Believe in yourself. You are not who the world says you are. And Eugene, I think the most important thing when you grow up, you start realizing that also your side of the story doesn't often matter. And the main thing that matters is you pulled yourself towards yourself.
Oh, yes.
And you handled the situation the best way you could at the time. So you don't have to crucify yourself over that.
Yeah.
The only thing is to be grateful. I'm grateful to God that I am where I am.
Yeah.
When you look at where I'm coming from, He has parted waters for me to get to this part.
Yeah.
So that foolish, gullible, innocent, naive, and naughty girl.
Yes.
Though she never really had a plan of this is where I want to go, because I never had my life figured out. I never had a plan that from A I'm going to B to C to D.
Yes.
God just took me through all those channels.
Yes.
And the only thing was for that little girl to avail herself and allow herself to go through where God says she should go, without even thinking about the logic of, oh my goodness, now I'm going to work at the university. Now, when God said you are going to the university, they need a lecturer. They called me and they wanted a junior lecturer, and I was there.
Yes. I remember the story.
So what is also important for us to teach younger girls and also to teach ourselves is let the opportunity find you ready. Don't prepare when the opportunity is here. You know me.
Yes.
You know me. That I am always prepared. Even though I don't asking myself, will you be able to do this? But
yes.
I show up, man, in and out of season. I show up. Whether people are unkind to me, whether people are happy and joyful and appreciative of me, I show up.
Yes, irrespective. Yeah.
Even to the nastiest person, as you know, I would not retaliate with anything.
Yeah.
Because I believe God said, be still and know that I'm God. Vengeance is not yours. So now, honestly speaking, as I used to say to you, that you didn't already, this academic life makes one not to sleep. I'm not about to start not sleeping because of people's attitude.
Yes.
People's attitude.
Yes.
And I need to sleep peacefully because I'm coming back home to myself. So yeah. We need to teach young girls that it's okay to be flawed, but when the opportunity comes, be ready.
Be ready. Oh, I'm learning.
Don't
so
prepare.
much. Yes. That's advice for me too, and I'm gonna pass that on definitely, because I think that's many times that's what we do. You wait for it to come and then you prepare. Why
And
not
then
be
you
ready? It's like the same saying of, if you pray for something, make room for the blessings, because when it comes, and then you're not ready, you know, so then you feel overwhelmed and question your blessings sometimes. So we have to pray for it and make room for it. I want to ask you, like, if you hear RaritybyU, and our slogan is born to tell my story, man. When I look back at it, I'm like, this is heritage already in itself, because it's your story, it's my story, it's born to tell my story, and the importance, you know, of owning and moving into the generational blessings. So it's a lot focused on breaking generational curses, but also just the importance of generational blessings. We cannot forget to highlight those blessings. Why is it important for us, Nontombi, to share our stories?
Firstly, your story can be, like I said, a healing aid for the next person. Secondly, you are testifying about whatever form of religion that, or whatever that you believe in. As a Christian, you are testifying that when God says, I am with you, this is how far we have come. Because at times you also, I mean, myself, I don't even believe that I'm here at times. Not that I feel like I've made it, no. But by the grace and the guidance and the courage, you know. And also, I think it is important to tell our stories, because you are the narrator of your story. You know,
yes,
who Eugene is, you know, and therefore then we need to move away from this concept of people should talk about you. Tell us who you are.
Oh, yes.
What a beautiful and blessed conversation this was. I surely did learn a lot, RareFam. I hope you too. Thank you for watching this video, RareFam. I really appreciate your love and support and just the empathy and sympathy that we have with one another. Until next time, RareFam. Bye.